Tonight is game night for you and the Express. Connor, your third season as a Wells captain. Yesterday, after practice, looking ahead to tonight's matchup, what'd you say to the guys to get them ready?
Man, I think the last thing I wanted them to know is just how bad I want to be on that field with them. But I think we definitely have some players that can step up into some future leaders that I see future Alex Milken, Aaron Heisey, Tanner, and the rest of the guys. I think they're going to get it done. And just because I'm not out there trying to tell them to spots, I think they just need to trust each other in themselves. And I think the goals will rack up and we can get the W.
What's the most memorable pregame speech you ever heard? It can be from any level of play, high school back at Horseheads, college. What's the best pregame speech you've ever heard?
Pregame speech. You want to know what? I think the best pregame speech, it was actually my senior quote in high school too. It was Friday Night Lights, the movie from that movie. And I remember, he was just like he started talking about family and how just looking at each other and about being perfect too. Just looking at each other's eyes. Just pretty much playing with each other. A game's kind of a game, and you want to know what? I think the only reason how we're going to win is if we play our lacrosse, and we got to look in each other's eyes and just have hope that one another is going to carry us and whatnot.
You're only 4 games into the season, so only 4 pregame speeches so far this year as you get ready for the 5th game this evening. Who's the guy who gives the speech? Is it you on this team? Is it Coach Daly? Who's in charge of the pregame speech?
In the locker room, Coach Daly will kind of say something. He's not really a big pregame speech kind of guy, but he definitely makes us think. And but other than that, he kind of puts it on me and our other captain, Mike Flaherty. But we got another guy in the huddle that kind of he knows how to get us fired, and that's our buddy Nick Lewis. And he's always ready to rock, and just we got to play for one another.
Senior Midi Connor Jansen, captain of the Wells College men's lacrosse team, my guest on BTL. Looking at your record, I'm sure it's not what you want it to be 4 games into the season at 1-3, but how do you feel the team is playing?
I honestly think the team's coming along well. I mean, as you can see, we have short numbers, but other than that, we have some great talent out there. But I like how you said, it's not where we want to be. But I think once you see us play some conference level play, I think that's when we're going to step up and be more comfortable on the field. And I think we're going to start playing Wells lacrosse instead of kind of like me lacrosse.
What's Wells lacrosse? What does that look like?
Wells lacrosse, it's mostly just going in our offense. With our low numbers, it's really being kind of like conservative with the ball. We need, as coach tells us every day, we need to go for layups. We can't be taking these 15, 30-yard out shots. So he really wants us to really work for that goal, even if it takes like 3 minutes of possession. A goal's a goal. They don't ask you how you scored; they ask you if you scored.
Wells is a growing program, a growing men's lacrosse program, just the 9th year in program history. What's that been like, being one of the early leaders and faces of a developing program?
It's actually a lot of fun. Me and Mike, our other captain, we've been on this team for 4 years now, and we've also had 3 different coaches. So, I mean, it's a little different, but I think what we tell the underclassmen is just, really enjoy it. And I think Coach Daly is one of those guys that actually brings out, like, the fun. Like, you see him hopping in some, like, line drills with us. He'll be stinging corners with, against our goalies and whatnot. But, these 4 years I've kind of learned something, but I think I've learned the most out of all my coaches was definitely from Daly. I've never had a guy that made conditioning actually fun.
How do you make conditioning fun? I'm looking for that answer as well. How do you make conditioning fun?
Yeah, I think a lot of coaches can do this, but no, he'll put us on the line, and we have a lot of upstate and downstate kind of guys, and he'll get our favorite teams going, and we're all racing each other to the end line, just trying to pick each other up. He'll be saying who's a Cuse fan, who's a Roll Tide fan. Just kind of like that.
What's your team?
My team, Roll Tide.
Roll
Alabama.
Tide. You're a
Roll
Horseheads
Tide.
guy. Roll
Yep.
Tide.
Yep.
No Syracuse rooting tonight in the Sweet 16?
No.
Wells College men's lacrosse midi Connor Jansen, my guest on BTL. You mentioned the three different coaches. You've played 4 years for Wells, 3 different head coaches. What's different about the team now? Let's just say the program compared to when you first stepped on campus.
Probably how close we are. Like, I've heard other interviews with Coach, and, he just always, he wants us to become a family, and I think that's what he brings us. He literally makes us a family. And I think a lot of guys see that. Like, I've never been more close with a team than how I am right now. And, whether that be in practice or us, getting lunch or whatever, it's just, with us being a small team, it's just we always got each other's backs, and, I consider these kids my brothers, and I will do whatever it takes for them to be successful. I'd go out of my way, whatever they need. And I think Coach really strikes that. We need to be there for one another.
Talking about a developing program, you're now the all-time career scoring leader in Express history. You said you'll do what guys want you to do. I'm sure they want you to score. You've been doing that. You topped the program mark earlier this season. What is notching that distinction? What does that represent to you?
Honestly, I'm just going out there and just playing lacrosse. I think there's other lacrosse players that will break my record, and you want to know what? I encourage them to do that. I think it leaves the goal for other players on this team. Just kind of like that.
If other players top you, it means that the program's growing, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think, maybe not now necessarily with our numbers, but I give this school maybe 3-4 more years until we're looking at a 30-plus roster.
Connor, thanks for your time. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, sir.